Everyone, thank you so much for joining us for today's live Hangout on Air. We're so glad that you could join us for session 2. Today we're going to be discussing how to have more control over your results. So thank you so much for joining, and we're going to be covering quite a bit of content today, but rest assured you should be receiving a recording of this live session via email if you RSVP'd. So we look out for that link at following this session today. Really excited here today. We're going to keep it very interactive. My colleague Bree will be joining us to answer some of your live and pre-submitted questions. So that'll keep it very interactive, and we want to make these sessions as helpful to you as possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So today's agenda, we're really going to be talking about how to define your key performance metrics. Looking at what are conversions for your business, show you how to implement conversion tracking, which is an excellent tool in AdWords that really allows you to track the return on investment that you're getting for your business from using AdWords. And we're also going to talk about how to understand conversion data. So first, let's jump in and really talk about some of those key performance metrics, and then we'll define conversions. So just a quick reminder, we do have that live Q&A, so Bree will be joining us shortly here to answer some of those questions for you. So today, really looking at, how do you know that AdWords is working for you? And it really starts with looking at clicks and impressions. But once you've kind of got your click-through rate to 1% or above, and you feel like you're pretty stable in the amount of clicks and impressions that you're seeing, the next step is really to start looking to track your return on investment even more refined. So today we're going to talk about return on investment, and related to that, we're going to be talking about conversions. So what are conversions? Conversions refer to the people who took a desired action on your website based on your ad. So this varies for different businesses. For an online retailer, a conversion would be considered a purchase. So someone who clicked on the ad, visited the website, and decided to make a purchase. Another option for a lot of lawyer businesses and other service businesses is a newsletter sign up or a form submission. So that's indicating interest and contact information. Another type of conversion we see very, very commonly is a phone conversion. So that's a phone call to your store after they click through to your ad. So really what the goal of conversion tracking is, it's to understand, we see how many clicks and impressions you have going through to your site, but conversions allow you to understand the behavior that's happening after someone clicks on your website, and what are they doing on their site? Are they becoming your customer, or are they just clicking through and not taking any further action? So by measuring conversions, you can really see how many people are becoming your customers. And the conversion tracking tag is something you put on your website, and it'll allow you to measure conversions for your whole account. So don't worry, we'll walk through that process very, very shortly here. So why do conversions matter? As we've kind of alluded to earlier here, the conversions really help you understand your return on investment, or your ROI. And this is generally the most important measurement for advertisers, because it's really showing the real effect that AdWords has on your business. So you may be getting 100 clicks a day and be very, very happy with that. But if only 2 of them are becoming your customer, that's not a great ratio. What conversions allow you to do is say that, okay, I got 100 clicks today, but of these 100 people, 50 of them have already become my customer. So it's really, really important information that you can have access to here. So it's really important when we're talking about return on investment to, first of all, understand your costs. So know, if you're selling a product or a service, what are the costs that you're taking on here from your side of things. And then next is really tracking your conversions. So let's say that you sell 6 products as a direct result of your AdWords campaign. We can quickly calculate your return on investment. So let's jump into an example here of how that calculation works. So for example, let's say that this is an online retailer and their products cost $100 each to produce, and each product sells for $200. And you sell, as a result of your AdWords campaign, 6 products in, let's say, a given 2-week period. To calculate your return on investment for that 2-week period, you'll just take your total sales for that period, subtract the sum of your AdWords costs and production costs, and then divide that whole total by your costs and production costs. So in this example, using this numerical data that we have, we would see an ROI of 50%, which is a really excellent return on your investment. So that's essentially how that calculation works, and conversion tracking allows you to understand how many of these users are becoming your customers. So why track conversions? Again, we really want to connect your ads and your keywords to your business goals. So conversions, what's great about the conversion data is that it really shows you what ads and keywords are really helping you meet your specific goals. So generally, we determine high-performing keywords to be the keywords that get the most clicks and the most impressions. But with conversion data, you can get even more specific than that, and you can say which keywords being triggered are actually giving me the most customers. You can really optimize your account based on that. Similarly to understanding what keywords and ads are driving your results, you can also really use this data to spend your budget more wisely. So if you see that certain keywords are really high converting, that when people search for that keyword, you're getting a lot of customers, you can really put more budget behind those sorts of keywords and even delete or just put less budget behind lower performing keywords. So very, very valuable for long-term efficiency. So next, we're going to cover some of what the conversion data looks like in your account. There are a few different metrics, and they all sound pretty similar. So we want to make sure that we clarify what each one actually means. So first is simply conversions. So this is the total number of people who take that desired action on your website. So that's really, baseline. It tells you how your campaign is generating results for you. The next side of that is converted clicks. So this is the tally of every AdWords click that resulted in one or more conversions. So to really understand this is how many clicks are leading to valuable actions. So let's say that I have a website and I have two conversions set up. One is a form and the other one is a purchase, for example. If I am a user and I click on an ad and go to the website, I fill out the form and I make a conversion and I make a purchase, that would be a total of 2 conversions, but only 1 converted click, because out of 1 click that converted, I completed 2 conversions. So that's why converted clicks and conversions are often a little bit different, because sometimes you'll get multiple conversions from only paying for 1 click. Next is conversion rate. So this is simply the percentage of people, the percentage of the clicks you've received that have led to a conversion. And then cost per conversion is a really great metric to follow when you're really looking at what are your costs and how much is it costing for you to appeal to each customer. So that is the total cost divided by your total conversions. So you can really see how much on average your conversions are costing. How much are these leads or these purchases costing you to acquire? So next, we're going to jump over to Bree, and she's going to answer some of your live and pre-submitted questions. So Bree, without further ado, go ahead and address some of our first questions.
Thanks, Erica. So Melanie wrote in and asked, how do I know if my ads are showing? Which is a really great question, and actually many of you asked this. There's actually a really great tool within AdWords that you can use to tell us whether or not your ads are showing. It's called the Ad Preview and Diagnosis tool. To get there, you go to the top of your screen to the Tools tab, click Ad Preview and Diagnosis, and there you can enter in a keyword from the ad group that you want to test, and then select your target location, and you can choose whether or not you want to look at a desktop or a mobile device, and then it'll tell you whether or not the ad is serving. If it's not serving, it'll tell you why it's not serving, give you several reasons why. Andrew also wrote in and asked, how do I choose the most effective keywords? In that same spot, that Tools tab, there's another great internal resource called the Keyword Planner, where you can actually type in one keyword kind of based off of your business category, and your URL, and it'll give you a great list of keywords relevant to your business that you can choose from. It also gives you estimated volume, traffic volume, that tells you whether or not, how great of a reach these keywords are going to give you. So great question, guys. I'm going to throw it back to Erica.
Great. Thank you so much, Bree. Those are great questions and great tools to take advantage of in your AdWords account. So again, that's the Ad Preview tool and also the Keyword Planner. Definitely 2 tools to take a look at as you're kind of, creating your first campaign or optimizing it if you've already created it after session 1. So thanks so much for that, Bree. So next, we're going to jump into how to actually set up this conversion tracking. So we've covered what is conversion tracking, what are some possible conversions on your website you might want to track. And we've also covered, what is the value and what are the metrics that we should be looking at. So next is implementation. So there are 4 components when you're setting up your conversion tracking that we want to cover here. The first is the conversion window. So this is the time period that you're, after someone clicks on your ad, that you want to kind of leave open, if you will, for them to actually make the conversion. So let's say I'm a user, I click on the ad and I go through to the website. But in that first interaction, I don't actually convert on the site. I don't actually fill out the form. But a week later, I go back to the website and I complete that form. If it were a week later and my conversion window were set to 30 days or something longer than a week, then that conversion would count. But let's say that I went back 3 months later, so that's 90 days, and my conversion window was only 30 days, that conversion would not be attributed to AdWords. So your conversion window, it's important to think, what is the general buying process for your particular product or service? So if it's something, like a less expensive retail item, you can probably have a shorter conversion window, around 30 or 60 days. But if it's a very something that involves a lot of research and a lot of process to make the purchase or to, sign up for the service, then you may want to consider a longer conversion window, like 90 days. So that's just how long after an ad click you want to track conversions for, for that conversion action. So next is the count menu, and this is really looking at what counts as a conversion. So here you can choose whether to count all or unique conversions. So all is best for sales and unique is best for leads. So be sure to select whichever one is more appropriate for your business there. Next, we have conversion value. So this is what is each conversion worth. So here we have choose whether your conversion has the same value, varying values, or if you prefer not to count a value. So if you know for a fact that every phone call conversion you receive is worth $20 to your business, then you can assign a $20 phone value to every conversion and really calculate what is the value you're getting for every conversion as a total. But a lot of conversions, they don't really have value, or you're not certain what the value could be, because one phone call, for lawyers, for example, one phone call could result in a very large amount and one phone call could actually result in zero. So just feel free to pick whatever value makes most sense for your business. And then lastly is that code snippet. So this is what actually allows us to track the conversions on your website. So the conversion tracking works by just adding that single snippet of HTML and JavaScript code to your web page. And there's actually a really easy way in the interface to get this code and have it implemented on the site. So how to set up conversion tracking, the snippet location, so where you actually paste the code, will vary based on what your goal is. So for example, if your goal is to have a website sale, so this is an online purchase, then you would want to put your code snippet on the thank you page or the order confirmation page, whatever page the user gets to after they actually submit their order. And so what that does is as soon as the user clicks on the ad, goes through to your website, makes that purchase, and gets to that order confirmation page, this code is going to fire and let AdWords know that this click has just converted. Next is newsletter signups. So if that's your conversion that you want to track, then you'll place your code snippet on the thank you for submitting page or your submission is complete page, whatever marks the end of the conversion. And then similarly, lead generation, if you have a submitted page or thank you for contacting us, we'll reach out to you shortly, it will be that page. So you want to place the code wherever the user ends up right when they complete the conversion. So again, getting the code is really, really simple from your account. From the tools menu, you'll select conversions, and from there you'll be able to click plus conversion action and create your first conversion, and the code will be right there. There's two convenient buttons. You can either click the button to save the instructions in the code to your computer, or you can actually email it directly to your web developer or yourself if you're the developer. So really, really easy to get that code sent off to the person who can have it implemented on your site for you. So next, we're going to talk about a specific conversion, which is tracking phone calls, a very, very common conversion that we see fairly frequently here. So if you've used call extensions to add a phone number to your ad, then you can actually track those phone calls as conversions. And to count phone calls as conversions, you do need to use a Google forwarding number with your call extension. So the Google forwarding number is a fantastic tool. It allows us to really track and see a lot of details about the calls that are coming to your business as a direct result of your ad. So you can certainly track those calls as conversions and really measure all of these different actions that you want users to take in the conversion section of your account. So next, I'm going to throw it over to Bree to answer some more of your questions. We want to keep this very interactive, so I'm really glad she's here to answer some of those. So Bree, go ahead and answer some of our next questions.
Thanks, Erica. So Karen wrote in saying, if I have a national ad or campaign, is there a way to see where my impressions or clicks are coming from, down to like the city and the state? Well, there actually is. In your campaign, you can go to the Dimensions tab and then click View Geographic. Here you'll see a list of all of the cities and states, or if it's more than that, countries where your ads and have gotten clicks from. And then this will help you determine where you might be doing really well and maybe where you can use some improvement. Next, Eric asked, he said that he is still getting clicks from his excluded locations. And he wants to know, is there any way to absolutely set an excluded location? Well, there is. In your campaign, go into the settings tab, go to locations, and then click edit. From there, you can enter in a location, and then right next to it, you click exclude, and from there, you should have excluded locations. Back to you, Erica.
Thanks so much for that, Bree. Great questions for optimization there. So thank you all so much for participating and writing in. It's really, really great to have those questions submitted and for us to be able to answer them live. So next, we're going to talk about how to really understand your performance. And there are a few things that you really want to pay close attention to when you're looking at what is the success of my campaign. So status, just making sure that everything is approved, enabled, and serving. Very, very, very critical. Next is click-through rate, which is also referred to as CTR. So that tells you, how many people are actually clicking on your ad of the people who see it. You want to pay attention to your average cost per click, also referred to as CPC. So this is something that can contribute to converters. So how much is each click costing you on average? And then also average position. So in my experience, average position has a really big impact on conversions because if you're towards the bottom of the page, then you're probably less likely to get a click, but you're probably also way less likely to get a conversion. So average position is something that even just a small increase in your position on the page can, in my experience, lead to a fairly large jump in the amount of conversions that you're seeing. So we want to make sure we cover all of these important metrics here. So looking at status, the structure really means that the status changes at the campaign level affect the statuses of everything below it. So if you pause a campaign, do know that you're also pausing the ad groups and the keywords beneath it, and the campaign would not serve. So just keep that in mind as you're optimizing and maybe pausing ads or pausing keywords. Just make sure that at every level you have things enabled, and that if you pause an ad, make sure you have another ad in its place that's serving. You never want to have everything paused because that would result in it not serving. So like we said, at the campaign level, you can see this in the status column, and you can also see this at the ad group level, at the ad level, and at the keyword level. So you can really have a clear sense of what is enabled and what is currently paused. So here's just a little bit more detail of some screenshots of where you can actually see this in the account. It's all under the status column, so just look out for that column. It should be default in your account. And next, we're going to go to click-through rate. So this is really understanding what is your click-through rate, and it's a key indicator of your ad's health. So we generally like to set a benchmark of 1% or higher. So be sure to keep a close eye on that click-through rate. It's generally a good indicator of what we can expect for your conversion rate and just also your number of conversions. So you can see that in the CTR column. So the average cost per click is the average amount that you've paid per click every time that someone clicks on your ad. And this is often less than the maximum CPC bid that you set, because generally you pay less per click than the max that you indicated, the most you're willing to pay. Average position, like I said, so this really specifies where your ad is showing up on the Google search network. So it gives you a sense of how visible your ad is, how many people are not only seeing your ad, but also where is it on the page. So position 1 all the way to 11 can appear on the first page of search results. So definitely something to keep in mind. So next, I'm going to hand it over to Bree for another question and answer session. So Bree, go ahead and take on.
Thanks, Erica. So Kirsten wrote in and asked, can I set a total budget instead of a daily budget? Unfortunately, in AdWords, you can only set a daily budget, but a little trick here is to look at what you want to spend monthly and then divide that by 30.4, which is what we consider to be like an average month. That'll help you adjust your daily budget so that you know you're not going over that monthly spend that you want. Now, Jay wrote in and he asked, is there a way to see what ads are leading to the most conversions? Now, I know Erica's going over all conversions right now, but a really great way to see which ads are kind of leading to the most conversions is to go into your ads tab, click columns, and then modify columns, add the conversions column, and then once you save that, you can kind of sort your ads from the highest amount of conversions to the lowest amount of conversions. See which ads are leading you to those greater conversions. Thanks, Erica. Back to you.
Great, thank you so much, Bree. And when you're looking at which ads are driving more of your conversions, something that I've seen in my experience is that ads that have a call to action tend to perform better than ads and have higher converting rates than ads that don't. So for example, if one of your conversions is to make a phone call, it can be really helpful to include in your ad, call us today. Or if your form is a purchase, say order online today. So you use those call to actions, where necessary, and kind of test out how those will work for you in terms of conversions. So really key here, I know we're in our second session, and it's really important to really make these campaign improvements a habit. So we really want to understand the performance metrics that we've discussed, so that you can understand what is working for you and what isn't. So what keywords and what ads are working well for you and giving you the results, and which ones aren't. And you can really make tweaks here to improve your results. So whether that's pausing some keywords that aren't performing well, whether that's creating more ad groups and separating out your content more, there are a lot of different adjustments that you can make to really improve your performance. And also be sure to invest in the ads that are more effective. So, something to keep in mind is that you're not limited to one campaign. So if you have everything in one campaign in different ad groups, but there are certain ad groups that are really high performing for you, you can actually move the other ad groups into a new campaign, possibly with a lower budget, and put more budget towards the ads and ad groups that are actually giving you the best results. So also don't be afraid to move around your budget a little bit, create more campaigns and spread it out across different campaigns based on how they're performing. So there's a lot of really great ways you can optimize based on not just conversion data, but also the general data we see in the account with click-through rate, average position, and things like that. So here's just a quick review of what we've covered today. Like I said, you should be receiving this recording in an email following the session. So rest assured, if you need to review anything we've covered, you'll have that at your disposal. But just a quick review here. So we talked about key performance metrics and really checking them regularly to gauge your success. Also really defining a desired action on your site as a conversion. We talked about how to implement that conversion tracking to more appropriately track your return on investment and understand what behaviors users are taking on your site. And then we also talked about call extensions and call conversion tracking, which is a specific type of conversion that you can really easily set up with a Google forwarding number. So thank you all so much for joining us today. We're so glad that you could participate in today's session, and we hope to see you for session 3. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the section below, and always feel free to reach out to our AdWords team here. So I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for joining us.